Okay, so I'm curious about what is the more important characteristics of the Bitcoin? What you are interested in?
So I think for myself, I started out in the Media Lab actually in 2011 as well, because I had a strong interest in human-computer interaction, and how using computers can really shape the way we as people live. And when I heard about Bitcoin, I thought this is kind of the weirdest way to interact with a computer. It can actually own our money, and I thought that was pretty profound at the time. And as I got more interested in it and read more about it, I found the technical problems in it really fascinating as well. And so I think, at the end of the day, what it comes back down to is that I think it's a platform that can really deeply impact the way we live and work together as a society. I think there's a very big potential there, and I hope to help further that and bring that. So that's why I'm most interested in it. But I also enjoy all the technical problems as well.
And so at the last MIT Bitcoin Expo last year, so you mentioned about that the story regarding the Hayek money.
Yeah,
I think this is a good as an important word to explain that nature of the Bitcoin.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. A lot of people call Bitcoin, if you're not familiar, Hayek money. And Hayek was, a world famous economist. He won the Nobel Prize. He's known for being kind of the one of the forefathers of the Austrian School of Economics. And what that means is that he was sensitive to the idea that governments should be involved in any large role. He thought that in order to have a productive and healthy society, competition is what's most important. The government's role should be there to increase competition where possible. So this led to a lot of really nuanced views, one of which was that certain protections of workers were actually important, such as having a universal basic income. He believed in that because he thought if you had a universal basic income, you would have more choice in choosing where to work, because you'd be able to tell a company that they weren't providing good enough condition and you were going to look for work elsewhere. If you're dependent on the company, you don't necessarily have that luxury. But in the most part, he said no government should be involved. We should allow this to exist in a free market. We should see where that goes. And so there are two ways of looking at Bitcoin as Hayek money. One, I think, which is more popularly understood, which is that, hey, governments can't interfere with Bitcoin. It's fixed. It's just going to keep on existing as it is. And it's known and fair rules for everyone in the market. No one can kind of get an insider advantage. The other way of looking at it is Bitcoin is a way of creating new currencies and saying, we are going to compete with the government. We are going to make our own alternative and see if these rules are more preferable to us. And so I think that is maybe the more interesting way to think about Hayek money, is it allows competition among currency platforms, which is really quite interesting.
Yeah, I think that this is so interesting. There's a philosophy of this technology. It's not only the Bitcoin, but blockchain has a similar kind of philosophy for the other kind of the application.
Yeah, it definitely asks the question of, do we just have Bitcoin, or is it good to have Litecoin and to have Ethereum and others that are competing? I think the competition has been great, and it served as, a really big market competition that's driven a lot of the improvements in Bitcoin over the years.
And so, many persons in this world, so blockchain and Bitcoin world, so they expected to MIT become a leader of this communities. Joy always say that essential things in this technology is keeping that healthy communities, and your concern is that to keep that community healthy, as you told at the last MIT Bitcoin Expo. So do you have any opinion to keep this community healthy and more healthier?
So I think one thing that's going to be really important going forward is having regular convening points for all the students who came to this program, and for anyone else in the Japanese Bitcoin community that are focused on kind of everything equal discussion and analysis, and not so much of the politics of Bitcoin. That's something that I've seen really successful in other communities where they meet, say, once a week to just talk about what pull requests have happened in Bitcoin recently and go through the code changes. So I think that's going to be important for continued engagement. It's also going to be, I think, important to, just as I said earlier, more funding for Bitcoin development. The more that you can have, one person who is a real true expert available and at the disposal of, like let's say a big group of people, the more that mentorship they're going to be able to provide when people are kind of learning how to delve in. And so I think having a couple people who are real experts nurtured here will be important.
That's quite important and so interesting. And the final, I have two questions remain. And the first is what is the dream and further activities? So for that blockchain technology also development, what is your further dream?
So I think for myself, what I'd like to see is more clarity going towards regulation. I think fundamentally Bitcoin use is freedom of speech. And when you are trying to express a spend of Bitcoin, or really a spend of any money, I think it's kind of a fundamental human right that you're able to transfer goods from one person to another without intervention. Now there are social consequences of a perspective like that, and there are certainly kind of some sort of agreement that could be made, or maybe some compromises to meet halfway. But I think that that's something as a society we're going to need to come to terms with to a certain extent, that people should have these rights, we need to protect them, and Bitcoin will be, in that way, a good platform for people to build that. I think until we have that perspective as a society, it's going to be very difficult to actually integrate it too closely in our lives.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.